Mushroom farming may seem like an odd and tiresome venture, but if you look closely, there's something quite attractive about it. According to official statistics from the National Farmers Information Service (NAFIS), Kenya produces 500 tons of mushroom per year against the demand of 1,200 tons. This therefore means buyers have to import from elsewhere as local farmers cannot sustain the demand, and herein lies a lucrative business opportunity for you to invest in.
Hello and welcome to our today's episode of Kilimo Biashara, a show that brings you all types of farming methods and emerging trends in agribusiness world. Today we are going to focus on mushroom farming. My name is Lindah Koskey. You would think this is any other village in the heart of Kiambu County, but for one John Muchora, this is his source of livelihood. Hi John.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
What happens here?
So we do mushroom farming. So our basic raw material is the huistro, which is the main source of nitrogen for the mushrooms.
Yeah.
So the huistro, we also add chicken manure and other supplements. So the supplement we use, we have things like the urea, fertilizer. We also have other type of fertilizer, the MOP, cottonseed, and the molasses. So there are several ingredients we also add, so that we can have a proper base for the mushrooms to grow. During the decomposition process, heat is one of the component which is emitted. So because it's undergoing aerobic or anaerobic respiration, so one of the byproduct in the process is heat as a form of energy.
Yeah. So from here, where do we move to?
So we usually go now to the incubation looms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look. What happens here?
Okay, now this is our growing rooms, and our growing rooms has two purposes. The first stage, it usually acts as our incubating loom, and then later when the mycelium is mature, so we usually induce now the fruiting. So it acts both as an insulating, as an incubation loom, and also as a fruiting loom. So in most cases, the loom must suit now the two conditions at different stages.
Yeah. So even before we talk about the types of mushrooms that you have here, let's talk about this makeup.
Mud are well insulators, and a mushroom house should be a well insulated loom. So generally, so by using the available local material, so I preferred to use the mud as structures, mud houses as my structures. Yeah.
For someone who's starting this business, how big should the house be?
There is always need, if you can start small, and then you grow with the business. Because generally mushroom farming is not like any other farming. So there are few steps that one should always follow, and there is also the little knowledge that one, or the skills that one need now to equip him or herself. So therefore it's a learning process, because generally you find that they usually grow within very slim parameters of temperature and also the humidity, and therefore one needs to have that little knowledge about how mushrooms are being grown. Yeah.
And what types of mushrooms do you have here?
I have two varieties. I do have the white button mushrooms, and also the brown species that you call them the portabella. Yeah.
What are the difference?
So the difference is the color and also the size when we usually harvest them. So when they are button size, so you can see now this is a mature size, and now this is mature to be harvested. So when it's the portabella mushrooms, you can see they are big. They are big in size, and they are also brown in color. Yeah, so there are people who usually prefer this species, the portabella, and there is also, although the most common type of mushrooms are the button mushrooms. They command the market, and they're also fast moving in the market.
So in this market, who is your biggest consumer?
My biggest consumers, they are the groceries. Yeah.
And you sell it at what price now? Let's say, how do you package it?
We usually pack them in plastic containers. So we usually refer them as pannets. So for the white button, so generally we usually prefer the blue one or the green one. And for the portabella mushrooms, since they are big in size, we also pack them in a bigger pannet.
Yeah, and how much does it go for?
For the button mushrooms, its normal price is between 150, a quarter kilo, to maybe 200 shillings. But its normal price is 150 shillings. But for the portabella, a quarter kilo, we usually sell them at 200 shillings. Yeah, so generally it's more expensive than the button mushrooms. It's only that the market share is also very small. So they are not popular as button mushrooms.
And I've seen you have several houses like these ones that host these particular mushrooms. Do you think you can satisfy the market? How is the market now for mushrooms?
Generally, the market is big. And the reason is why I do have several houses is for the consistency in the production. Because mushrooms grows at different stages and all that. So I usually, for the consistency, I usually do them at different stages so that I can have the production consistently to take mushrooms to my consumer. Yeah.
And now let's talk about the challenges that a farmer can go through.
Our biggest challenges, it's not really the market, but the production. So whereby, since mushrooms grow within very slim parameters of the pH and also the humidity, so you find that they usually need a lot of management. So the management here is key.
And for a farmer who's just beginning this particular business, what does that person need?
One, you need a structure. So the structure is the basic place where mushrooms usually grow, because they don't grow outdoors. So you need to have a structure so for the mushrooms to grow in. The other thing is that you also need the basic raw material for the composting. That is the wheat straw, the chicken manure, and the other supplements, so that you can do proper composting.
How much approximately can one start with? How much capital do you think one will need?
For the button mushrooms, they are more expensive, but you may need about 50 to 100,000 Kenya shillings.
Which one sells in the market well between the oyster and this button and the other one?
Button commands the market. Yeah.
And what do you think? Why is it so?
So generally, it's only that the hotels usually takes. So major the consumers, button generally it's more common almost to everyone. But the oyster varieties, they are sweet. There is also the other variety. So the portabella, the blonde one, they are even sweeter than the button mushrooms. It's only that the button is more common almost to every consumer of mushrooms.
Yeah. For someone who likes consuming mushrooms, there are different varieties of mushrooms, and also there are the ones which are wild. Can someone differentiate between the poisonous ones and the ones that can be consumable?
So all that differs is the species. So the species that usually grow, and also the spawn that we also get, it's only for the edible mushrooms.
Approximately in a year, how much can you get, or how many times do you harvest?
Okay, it's only that, okay, I have about 5 different looms that I usually take them loud, the cycle. So, but per single loom, whatever capital I usually put in, I usually get between 75 to 100% profit.
Even before we talk about the nutritional value of this particular product, why is it in a polythene paper bag?
So generally we usually use the polythene bag so that it can be enclosed somewhere. So when it's exposed, you find that there is fungal infection and other pathogens that usually really try to feed on the mushrooms due to competition, parasites and all that. So that's why we usually do it on a polythene sheet so that the polythene can act as the mechanical protector.
How did you get to know about this business?
Okay, well, I have a background of microbiology. So I've also attended several training. So the Jomo Kenyatta, they have been really helpful to my undertakings.
So I've just come from Muchora's farm and now I'm at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, where most farmers are saying that they've gotten their training here. It's the main incubation center. And now I'm going to meet one Patrick Muchiri, who's the head of mushroom production unit. Follow me. So Patrick, what happens here?
Well, thank you very much. This is where the whole process of growing mushroom starts. This is the spawn wrap. This is where we make the spawn. The spawn is the seed for the mushrooms.
So we've seen several spawns here. Take us through. What are these?
This is the planting material, or the seeds, if you want to call it. This is now what we plant on the agricultural waste, because mushroom growing utilizes agricultural waste. So this one has been done here in this lab, and where we have the aseptic conditions for preparation, because this spawn is supposed to be sterile and very clean.
What are the components of these spawns?
The carrier is, we are using sorghum. You can use any grain, but here we are using sorghum because it's appropriate. So sorghum is boiled to increase the moisture content to about 40% from 12%. Then we add the rind to control the pH. We pasteurize at 121 degrees C for 1 hour. Then incubation takes about 1 month. So now this one is ready. It has gone through all those stages. Now this one is ready to be used by the farmers.
And what other types do you have? Because we are seeing several spawns here.
Here we are making many types of spawn because the process is the same. But the main mushrooms grown in this country and the ones that we are making more spawn is buttons, oyster, shiitake, and ganodama. But we have several other types that are also becoming popular as time goes on.
And which type of these spawns moves faster?
The farmers in this country are mostly growing button mushroom because button mushroom is the most popular. And we find that in this country, the farmers are doing up to 40 tons a month, which is hardly enough. And we are importing 15 tons every month, so we have a big gap in as far as this mushroom is concerned. We also have the oyster, which the farmers are doing 5 tons. That's a far second. We have the ganodama, which is medicinal, about 50 kilos per month. And shiitake, which is also medicinal, about 50 kilos per month.
So when you say medicinal, which type of disease does it cure?
To lower the blood pressure, to lower the blood cholesterol, to stimulate the immune system, to control allergies, people who suffer from insomnia, improves the skin conditions. Of course, it extends what we call it. It also extends longevity.
Like
so
lifespan, it
the
will increase the lifespan.
You live longer.
Wow.
It throws also the aging process.
Many mushroom farmers out there have been telling me that JKUAT is the main incubation center. Why is it and when did it start?
Yeah, this program was started in the year 2005 at this university, in this department, the Institute of Biotechnology Research. The reason why this program was started is because there was a demand because many people kept asking where they could get the skills, how to grow mushrooms, because mushrooms was being popular at that time, but people never knew where they could get the skills and the training from.
Yeah.
So we started 2006, and we started by doing the spawn and the training.
Yeah.
We have been training farmers on mushroom growing as an enterprise.
And do they pay for these trainings?
It's a 3-day program, and the charges are 10,000.
And from there, what happens? Can the farmer come back for more research? Do you help them later?
Yes, they do. We encourage them to come. We work with them. They would come if they have any problems. They would come to see, to ask questions as we go around.
So, Patrick, is there a good market for mushrooms here in the country, and who are the biggest consumers of mushrooms?
There's a very good market, like I said, because we are having a gap, and that's the reason why mushrooms, when you go to the marketplace, there are some mushrooms that are being imported. I said we are importing 15 tons of button mushrooms every month, meaning that we have a gap there. Mushrooms are sold in supermarkets, green grocers, hotels, and institutions. We also have one farmers market in High Ridge, where the small-scale farmers could go there and sell their mushrooms. Sasa hii ndio nyumba ambayo tutakuwa tunaona. Nyumba imejengwa na very simple structures. It's a very simple house. This is our mushroom structure, and the mushrooms that we are growing here.
So there are many types of mushrooms. Which one is this?
This one is Pyrotus, Ostratus, or oyster. And we are growing mushrooms. We are growing this type of mushroom is tracing, wheat straw, and sawdust. But you can use any agricultural waste that is available. But many farmers are using wheat straw and sawdust. After 1 month, we start harvesting. This mushroom will have reached that stage, 3 to 4 inches in cups diameter, and then we harvest. We separate them and pack them in plastic containers called pannets.
Yeah, and I've
for the
seen
market.
this container has holes. What is the use of this container?
We want the mushrooms to grow through those holes. Yes.
Now tell us about this setup right here.
Yes.
Why is it made of mud?
You can use different materials for building a mushroom structure. We say they should be materials that you're using should be bad conductors of heat, because you don't want the variances of heat, of temperatures high and low. So the materials that we are seeing here, the earth, and this house is thatched with grass, are bad conductors of heat, so the temperatures does not vary too much. You can also use bricks.
Yeah.
You can also use stone or any material that is a bad conductor of heat.
And right here, it's very cold.
Yes.
Do you normally pour water?
Yes,
or
normally
what happens?
to keep the temperatures down, we are keeping the floor moist to raise the RH and to drop the temperature. In fact, you can use charcoal to help in that process. Yes.
And what size is this house? And
This
what's the standard size?
This house is 20 by 10. This is not a standard. Let's not call it standard. Where many farmers can build different sizes depending on their requirements. So this is a 20 by 10. It can cost up to 50,000 to build. But it is variable, because if you build it in the rural areas, it will be less cheap, less expensive.
Yeah.
So the capacity of this house, it will fit 150 buckets or 5 kilos each. And this house can give you 266,000 shillings per year net when you sell this mushroom at 400 shillings a kilo. Yes.
Talking of the market of these mushrooms, this product is highly perishable.
Yes.
What should farmers do?
Since it is very perishable, and the shelf life is only five days, and if you keep it at 2 to 4 degrees C, it will be in good in a better condition after those 5 days. So what we tell the farmers is to take the product to the market soonest after you harvest, and possibly keep it cool.
How can they preserve in case they want to preserve
If
it?
you want to preserve the mushrooms, you can dry the mushrooms, and you can dry by slicing the mushrooms and putting them on the sun. Or you can also use a dryer, a solar dryer. So now the moisture content comes down to 12%, and the shelf life is extended to 2 years.
Oh, 2 years?
Yes.
Oh, so
After drying, after removing the moisture from the
such a long
mushrooms.
time.
Yeah.
And for the one that have been grinded, how long will it take also?
The same period. The shelf life is 2 years.
Oh.
Yes.
We have seen the entire process of mushroom farming, and now we are about to harvest. Patrick, how do you harvest mushroom?
We harvest mushrooms by twisting and pulling. You twist and pull, and then you cut the stem in the right place, and then you separate your mushrooms and pack them in our pannet. This pannet. So then we are going to put whey and put a cling film on top and a label, and then go to the market.
Now,
Linda, can you harvest this batch of mushroom?
Okay, let me try. You say it's
Twisting
twist and
pulling,
pull,
and you cut
and then you cut
the
stem.
the stem.
Is it called the stem?
The stem, and then you separate them into the pannet.
Yeah.
Cut the stem.
Oh, you must cut the stem, the entire stem. Is it poisonous to
No, it's
consume
not.
this stem?
The stems is very rich in fiber. It's very useful. So you only cut a small piece.
Oh,
A small piece.
yeah, like that.
You don't throw it away.
Oh, it's
It
also
concentrates.
used.
It concentrates. It's a very high concentration of fiber.
Oh, which helps in what now?
Digestion.
Oh, okay. Let's see. That's it. This is my favorite part of the show. We are going to prepare this mushroom for our lunch. Follow me. So our mushroom is ready, and it took approximately 10 to 15 minutes to get ready. But before I even test, Patrick, what are the nutritional value of mushrooms?
Mushrooms are rich in protein. They have got good vitamins. Proteins are up to 20%. Minerals are like potassium. And the good thing, and one of the greatest advantages of mushrooms, mushrooms do not have fats. They do not have cholesterol and salts. So they are good for our health.
Yeah, and some people are saying that mushrooms are the proteins of the vegetable world. What does this mean?
They have an advantage because you see it's an alternative crop, an alternative protein, when you consider that we're also growing other crops that have protein. But I would say the protein from mushrooms is very good protein and very good vitamins. Yes.
Thank you so much, Patrick. As you've had, it's the protein in the vegetable world. That's all that we had for you in today's Kilimo Biashara edition. But we have more agribusiness stories for you next week. Until next time, bon appetit.